Season premiere, season 2 of State of the Frogs with Mark Campbell, back for another year. And before we kind of get into it, you talk about records all the time around here. We had record-breaking numbers last year with over 240,000 views on this show for the 8 episodes. And obviously that's a pretty good deal. You're back for your 3rd year, man. It just goes so fast.
It does. It's hard to believe it was 3 years ago. I mean, this picture was during year 1, and it's crazy that this is our 3rd season. It's been so fun to see the growth each year as our program has unfolded, and we're off to another pretty good start.
Well, I mean, it's awesome, and I kind of want to, before I kind of get into all that, let's just talk about the last game real quick.
Yeah.
Because more history's made, and back-to-back triple doubles and 4 triple doubles or the last two games, and Russell Westbrook and LeBron James were the ones that, and now you've got Olivia and Marta in there. Like, just that's got to be pretty special.
Yeah, if you're doing stuff that aligns with LeBron and Russell Westbrook, that's good company. But to watch that unfold for Olivia. She's on a current 3-game streak of 3 straight triple doubles. To get one triple double in your career at any point is incredible. I think at TCU they hadn't had one here in 11 years. Was the last time there was a triple double. So it's been really fun and special to watch Olivia. Her ability to impact the game, her passing. It's the 10 assists that is really, really hard to do. And for Olivia, I guess that's not hard to do. So that's been special. And then we had Marta. I mean, she was getting jealous, so she's like, I want to get one. And, they both got a triple-double. It's the 2nd time in the history of college basketball, but the first time that anybody's done it against a Division I opponent. And those two, they didn't even do an average triple-double. They each scored 20 points while they got a triple-double. So that last game was fun, special, magical, historic. I've been doing this a long time to know that that's not normal. And so this is one of those teams and with some superstar talent that you got to enjoy every minute you get to be with them.
Well, you talked about playing 40 minutes. You obviously played 40 minutes going into conference play on Saturday, but just kind of 30,000-foot view of non-con and how it's gone. Obviously, the numbers prove it, but when you look at it and you have your non-con skin, you want to win every game, but just overall, you must be in a good spot going into conference play.
Yeah, I think we are. The point of the preseason, those 12 games you get, is to really try to figure out your roster and figure out their personality. And then basketball, you try some different rotations and lineups to make sure we get everything dialed in before league. And fortunately, we've been able to win while we're doing that. And one of the lines I've been using a lot this year, and it's because of the portal. And Jay, we got 10 new players. So it's not like this is a well-oiled machine. It's like, hey, my name's Mark. Nice to meet you. By the way, let's get to work. So you got this whole new roster, and you're building the plane while you're flying it. And that's how I look in today's college era, in the preseason. That's what it is. You're building the plane as you're flying it. Fortunately, we've been able to find ways to win while we're doing that and build our resume, because we have 2 goals. Every preseason. Put together a team that gives you a chance to win a Big 12 title. And if you do that, you're going to have a chance to host and be a top 16 seed, which gives you 2 home games. And that's, we got to do that last year, and Shomai Arena was sold out. And so after 12 games, I think we're in a great position to compete for a Big 12 title. I think we're going to have a great opportunity to get 2 home games during March Madness.
Well, when you talk about constructing teams, our crack research team did some digging in there. Like a lot of places we look, you're the nation's best recruiter. Like, I mean, and you've proven it, obviously, everywhere you've been. Oregon State, Oregon, Sac State, I mean, everything. Like, what does that mean when you see it? It's like all the work you put into it, and then you actually get the kids are on the court doing it.
Yeah. I think it's, one, I got a great staff. To do this, it takes a village to pull this stuff off. And so I think I have the best staff in the country. And then there's 2 parts to recruiting. One, it's the ability to identify the basketball piece, who fits your style of play that also has pro talent, right? Like at the end of the day, you need talent to win. And so I think we've done a phenomenal job of player evaluations, getting the right players that have a chance to be pros. And then the second piece is a culture element, the human element. And I think that's our secret sauce. Finding women, and you bring them here that just enjoy the journey together. They enjoy each other. I think our chemistry, our locker room, I'll take that, our culture against any program in the country. And so fortunately, we've been able to do those two things at a high level since we've been here.
So what is it like being Mark Campbell out on the recruiting trail? You know, youth, not just watching, I mean, you obviously see the competition in the portal, but out there watching these high school kids. What is it like? What are you looking for?
Yeah. The first piece, we value skill and shooting. You know, we led the country in threes a year ago. And so kids that can really shoot that thing. And then second, just the body language, their competitive spirit, the energy. You can tell the right kids that go about the game and playing the game the way that aligns with us. And then the pro talent. I mean, you could walk into the same gym I walk in and you can go, well, that kid's different, right? And so finding those and then vetting them and then finding the right pieces. You know, let's use Marta Suarez, for example. Like, me and you could watch film on Olivia Miles together, and I think both of us would agree that that kid's really good at basketball. Okay, you know, the Marta Suarez is a great example of a kid that wasn't on draft boards, you know, that people didn't foresee her overall gifts that she truly had. And so when we watched Marta and studied it and studied the data, we just, kept coming back to, if we plug her into our system, our style of play, and give her the freedom to do what she can do, she's going to blossom. And I think that's been evident.
Going back to your playing days and using some of those experiences in seeing talent, recognizing talent, coaching, you know, from, you know, Clackamas, you know, Cal Poly to Hawaii. And I believe you're the winningest player in 2 year history at Hawaii. Like, what was it like as a player in college and that world that helps you do what you do now?
Yeah, I think all of those stops have prepared me. A fun story most people don't know. There was a kid named Paul George. Do you know that name? In the NBA, a long-time NBA All-Star. And so my first job was at Pepperdine on the men's side, and we signed a top 10 recruiting class in the country, and it was a kid named Brad Tinsley, Paul McCoy, and Paul George. And so those kids got my foot into college coaching. That recruiting class is how I got to Pepperdine. And so, you know, it started early on at the end of the day, you need talent to win at a high level. But if you can find talent that's also a great person that loves basketball, that's an elite competitor, and you can get the locker room right as well, then you can compete at the highest level of college athletics. And so it's been, you nailed it. My time at Hawaii, I was one of only 2 Americans on the team. So my playing career was filled with international players. And I don't know if you've observed, but our roster always has an international flair to it, right? Xavi, who's been with me 12 years, is from Barcelona, Spain. And so that's something that I've always valued. The game changed when we were at Oregon and we were able to build the #1 team in the country. And a team that went and played in the Final Four. That was done through the high school ranks. The portal wasn't a part of it. And so you cut your teeth building a program through the high school era. Well, now college athletics changed, and now it's portal. Okay? And so Sac State and here, we've rebuilt 2 programs solely through the portal. And so I think something that you always got to be finding what gives you a competitive advantage in modern college athletics. And college athletics has been changing year by year, and I think we've done a really good job always adjusting. I think always also being on the front end of how do you do this, how do you attract talent, and how do you build a roster?
Well, when you were talking about the men's game, there was a great soundbite in the press conference in the last game about how you transitioned from the men's game to the women's game, and you credit your daughter on that. Let's just get a quick listen to that.
Shoot, my dream job was to be the head coach at Clackamas Community College where I played. That was my dream job when I first got into coaching, and started out on the men's side. And my oldest daughter was born. and got an opportunity, got a call from Scott Ruick at Oregon State. He just took over a program that was decimated. I just finished coaching in the Sweet 16 with Patty Mills and Matthew Dellavedova at St. Mary's, and Scott Ruick reached out, and he came from a D3 and got the Oregon State job and asked if I had any interest, coming to coach at Oregon State in women's basketball. And the initial call I didn't, but my oldest daughter, who's 16 right now, was just a couple months old, and it gave an opportunity for me and my wife to move back to the Northwest, and for my wife to be able to raise Maylee in the Northwest around our families. And so I switched from men to women really because of my oldest daughter and my wife, and get her back to the Northwest. And now it's been one heck of a journey. I'm a huge person of faith and timing and the Lord, how he's orchestrated all of our steps and opened the right doors at the right time. It's been just a fun ride, and I'm thankful for my time at St. Mary's. It's where I learned how to coach, and then the rest of it, my opportunities that at Oregon State and Oregon and Sacramento State, and now here. But no, never in my wildest dreams did I think I would be sitting where I'm sitting with the opportunity that I have.
Great story there. And in your household, you got two daughters and a wife that played at Vanderbilt, yeah. And I believe your oldest just got 1,000 points. Yeah. So there's a high standard in the household itself, right?
Yeah. In my own house, I'm like the second best coach behind my wife. She was an All-American, tremendous player at Vanderbilt. And my two daughters play. Maylee, my oldest, is the reason that I switched to women's basketball. I mean, how neat would it be? Hopefully someday I get an opportunity to coach, one or both of them. But they're working hard, chasing their dreams. Maylee's a junior, McKay's a freshman, and they're both playing on varsity together. So it's a kick in the pants when I leave here and I'm done with basketball. I go home and watch more basketball. So it's fun. Our basketball has provided so much for me and our family. It's created just incredible memories. I've gotten to travel the world through basketball. And so, what's the saying? Ball is life. It applies to the Campbell household.
Well, before we go to break here, what is the biggest difference between women's basketball, coaching that, men's basketball, in your mind? Huge.
Oh, there's so many differences. There's a lot of similarities, right? The similarities are creating a game plan, getting your locker room right, finding your leaders, building a team and culture and environment, making sure your work ethic is established. Those things, it doesn't matter, men or women, to win at an elite level, those characteristics in championship programs are the same. The differences are, the communication with young men and the communication with college women are two different worlds. And so their motivations are different, and how you say things and the tone that you say things with are completely different. And so I love both. I've loved my time coaching men. I absolutely love my time coaching women. But I think there's very few coaches that have the ability and the personality and the communication to be able to go back and coach both. But I think my time coaching the men has made me a better women's coach.
That's awesome. Well, before we get into K-State, we're going to send it to a break here from our friends and sponsor, Texit Coin. But we have Olivia Miles joining us here next.
Keeping score of your finances but missed the Bitcoin wagon? There's a second chance called Texit Coin. Score big at texitcoin.org.
All right, welcome back into another edition of State of the Frogs with Mark Campbell. We have Olivia Miles here, transfer from Notre Dame. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Really appreciate it. Okay, we want to get to know you a little bit, but first of all, we can't overlook the back-to-back-to-back triple doubles and some of the names that you're associated with as well. And I think I read something like TCU's the first team or the second team to have 4 triple doubles. Russell Westbrook, LeBron, those names too. So just first of all, what is that like, having those names associated with you, and then just the performance in general over the past 3 games?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely very exciting. It's proven that, when you work hard, it will pay off. The results will come. And it's just a testament to my off season and Martz's off season as well. So it means we're doing something right. So
Right, and people have to, assist, rebounds, and things like that. There is like the work that goes into that. Like that's hard to do. I don't care who you're playing and things like that.
Yep.
The assists, people have to score them, and then you have to grab the rebounds and things like that. So you talked about a testament to your work. What is it? How have you grown as a player since you've been here to TCU? Because you've been there, done that, done a lot of things, and now you're doing more.
Yeah, I mean, I've grown just tremendously in my confidence. I think that's the biggest thing that I wanted to grow as I was here before I went pro. Just my confidence, obviously my physical shape, and feeling, more confident in my body after a pretty big injury a few years ago. And then ultimately just getting a fresh new start. So I think I'm doing well in all 3 of those categories. And that's really the goals that I want to hit while I'm here. And I'm growing every day.
So let's go back to where you grew up, Phillipsburg, New Jersey. What's Phillipsburg, New Jersey like?
It's a small town. It's right on the border of PA. So they basically call us from Pennsylvania, but I'm a Jersey girl. A lot of my family's from Jersey. But yeah, it's a pretty small town right on the Delaware River. And all my people are back there. So love it.
So we talked a little bit about Media Day, about how you came to TCU and what that decision, that process was like. But what got you into basketball?
Not really a special story, to be honest. I think my dad just kind of signed me up for all sports, knew that we were pretty athletic kids, me and my brother, and wanted to try everything. And so when I was about 8 or 9, I kind of got into a little camp, and then it kind of took off from there.
What is the thing you like about it? Because I know you've dabbled a little bit in soccer, or you like that a little bit too, but what is it about basketball that you like?
I think I like the chaotic nature of the game. I like how fast paced it is. Soccer's more slow build up. It's a beauty on its own. I love soccer and I've been playing it since I could walk. But basketball for me is more fast paced and it's more exciting. There's more scoring. There's more, excitement in the game and with the fans and with your teammates. And it's just fun.
So being a multi-sport athlete obviously helps in soccer. You can obviously tell with the vision that those athletes have, the vision that you have. Do you think you can make a run at Eric Bell's team here? If you were out there with those girls, what would it be like?
They're pretty good. Obviously, suffered a tough defeat in the Final Four, but just crazy good team. I think I could compete with them for a little bit. They definitely have some more experience under their belt than, I do, but just off of pure athleticism and just IQ, I feel like I could compete with them for a little bit.
So Blair Academy is where you went to high school. You won a state title there, which is awesome. And then you commuted to play AAU with the Philadelphia Bells. What was your high school experience like? Naismith, Girls Player of the Year as well, and the state title, like I mentioned. What was that process like, or that experience?
Yeah, I love Jersey and I love Jersey basketball. It's just a culture out there. I went to Blair Academy, which is in New Jersey, obviously, and played with a lot of great players. And we got to play against a lot of really good competition, girls who did very well in college and girls who were in the league. And my high school had a legacy of really good girls, that went to UConn and, you name it, places and won big titles there. So, growing up in New Jersey and playing for, Blair Academy and then ultimately right outside of Jersey in Philly, for AAU, I just got to be around a lot of great talent in the Northeast, and just kind of got to grow up with that swag and that New York flair and then in the New Jersey swag, like I said. So yeah.
Are you looking forward to getting back there? Because I think the middle of January you're going back there playing in your hometown. Have you done that before? Are you looking forward to that?
I actually haven't played in Jersey, so this is my first time, and a lot of my family and friends, people I haven't seen in a long time, will be there, and I'm just excited to have that access close to home. Being in Jersey, being somewhere that's like an hour from my house is special. So I'm just excited. It'll be a big time game too, and I'm just grateful that our coaches had the ability to have that opportunity to set that up.
What was that transition like from high school to college, going to Notre Dame, going early, things like that? What was that transition like?
Yeah, it was crazy. It was fast. COVID kind of threw everything into a whirlwind. And our Blair girls basketball season was canceled and I was kind of stagnant, and Notre Dame had one where roster spot at the time. And I was like, you know what, let's just do it. Obviously had the grades and everything to get it handled academically. So I just kind of threw myself into the fire. I learned a lot. Don't regret my decision, but it was crazy, I will say, for a 17-year-old kid to kind of go to college in the middle of a season, in the middle of conference play with COVID in the wintertime, 9 hours away from home. It was a lot. Now that I think about it, I'm just proud of myself that I made that jump.
So you're, Notre Dame, 2 gold medals for the U.S. basketball. That's impressive. What is it like playing for your country?
Yeah, it's just special. It's an indescribable feeling. You have the weight of the nation on your shoulders. But luckily they keep us very well prepared. Great staff, great players that you get to play with, and just a history and a culture of winning basketball. And ultimately when you get to put the gold medal around your neck and the USA is right underneath it, it's so special. You made your country proud and you represented yourself, your institution, and the country as a whole in a very good way.
So how important is it that you got a bunch of international players here with you, teammates? How important is the international game for you as a player?
Yeah. I mean, honestly, TCU is probably one of the best schools at recruiting international kids. I haven't seen the level of dedication they have in terms of scouting talent overseas and, getting kids that play pro when they're 13, 14 years old. And so when they get to have that ability to play tough matchups and experience real life quicker, it ultimately makes them better. And you see that in the international kids we have. I mean, they're light years beyond where they should be.
Yeah.
And their ceiling is so high, and they've already been experienced with so many different styles of play and in different countries and different energies on the court. And it's just amazing to see them grow.
Awesome. Last couple things, and we'll let you get out of here. Classes. You have 2 degrees already. Political science, nonprofit administration, or something like that. Mm-hmm. How are class scores going for you, and what's that 3rd degree going to look like?
Classes are very nice here. I will say that is definitely a perk. I've worked hard to be able to just kind of coast now, and TCU has a great program, the MLA, where you can kind of just tailor your course to your schedule. It's all online. The flexibility is incredible. Kind of just get to turn in my work whenever I can before the deadline, and it just offers so much more time for me to prioritize basketball and prioritize my body and sleep and whatever that may be, and travel and whatnot. So.
What is it like being Olivia Miles walking around campus here? I know you're online and things like that, but walking around, I mean, you're a very dynamic individual anyways, but what is that like?
Yeah, I mean, I try really not to think about it. I don't really like getting recognized. I kind of, if you see me, I wear my hood up a lot and kind of just try to keep it low key. But no, I don't mind talking to people, meeting people, taking pictures, whatever it may be. It's cool to know that people care about you, watch your journey, support you, love you as a player. And, I always keep that in mind when I see and talk to new people.
And you mentioned free time. What do you actually do? I mean, you don't have a lot of free time. I wouldn't guess, being here in the gym all the time and traveling. But is there something? Are there athletes you hang out with other than soccer? Than basketball? What?
Yeah, no, I'm pretty much by myself. Hang out with my teammates every now and then. I keep a very close circle. I hang out with my cat a lot. That's like my best friend. And I play a lot of video games. I'm a nerd, so I love playing video games, and that's kind of how I spend my free time.
Do you play like NBA or the sports games? And
Call of Duty, FIFA, all that stuff.
Okay, last couple things here. Non-con, just summarize that so far.
I think special. Obviously, we can't control the scheduling as players, so we just try and go out there and play our best against whoever that may be. But we're definitely more excited for tougher tests. I think we're ready. I think we've built the chemistry. I think it's time that we compete and really, dig our feet in the ground and make statement wins on the road and at home. So you haven't played in the Big 12 so far, but you know what it's like. What is the biggest difference you think between the Big 12 and the ACC that stick out? That's a good question. I don't know if I can answer that right now, but I will say, I mean, when you were playing, you kind of mentioned this a little bit, when you were playing against TCU and Mark Campbell, what was it? Let's just go there. What was the thing about Mark Campbell and this TCU program that made it difficult for you guys to compete against? Yeah, I think it's just the intentionality and the level of detail that he puts into his system. A lot of ball screens, obviously, it tires you out as the game goes on. But his attention to detail is something that I haven't really seen very often, and I've played against a lot of teams, like a lot, ACC, SEC, whatever that may be. But his level of detail when we played them last year was just like unstoppable, and he just runs a very tight system, and he knows exactly what he wants, and he's very efficient in those movements, and ultimately that's why they went 34-4 and had a great season. So
That's awesome. Last question. As a soccer coach, players had traditions, routines, or superstitions, or things like that. Hair up, hair down. Like, is there something like for you that any routine, or you just go out and play? 'Cause it seems like that's who you are.
yeah, I just go out and play. I'm an overthinker, so if I start to do crazy stuff, then I'll just stress myself out to the ground. So I just kind of go out there and play. If I feel like putting my hair up, I'll put it up. If I feel like letting it out, I'll let it out. But no, I don't think too much in it. I have my game day thing where I go do my stretches, lifts, whatever, and then just go hoop. See.
That's awesome. Well, Olivia, we really appreciate you joining the show. And when we come back, we're going to talk with Mark Campbell about K-State and this upcoming conference game. Thank you again.
Thank you.
The origin of the purest water the planet has to offer? Clouds, aka nature's original water source. At Richards, we found a simple process to collect each magical drop, filter it, and pour it into infinitely renewable aluminum cans and glass bottles, leaving for all the purest, best-tasting water. Straight from the source, the clouds. When we drink the rain, it's good for all, people and the earth. So taste for yourself and sip the sky. Richards Rainwater.
Coming back into it, thanks. Welcome back in. We really appreciate Olivia Miles for joining us. What a great kid. What a great story. We were talking, and the fact that she gets to go home and play. You guys play Ohio State, New Jersey. Like, that's a cool moment. What a great kid.
She's incredible. It has been so fun getting to do this journey with her and truly getting to know her. A brilliant basketball player and a brilliant person. She's amazing on and off the court. It's been really fun getting to know her, who Olivia Miles is off the court. Chavi gets credit for scheduling the game there, getting Olivia back home. The Coretta Scott Classic, which is going to be played on MLK Day. And so that's going to be an amazing showcase. I know Liv is so excited. She's got tons of friends and family and her whole basketball community that's coming out. And then the Coretta Scott is just a neat way to honor their family, and she played a huge role and was right there with MLK during that movement. And so we're excited. And what an incredible game and showcase. You got Michigan, Ohio State, and Vanderbilt all playing in it. And somehow we thought that would be a good idea in the middle of Big 12. Let's just throw that game in there.
Well, speaking of Big 12, before we get to Kansas State, the Big 12 has obviously been doing well. I think half the teams of 2 losses or less. There's 4 teams undefeated. I think you're one of them undefeated with 12 total teams. I believe it was that Brady said the other day. One of 12 undefeated teams. With the Big 12, just in your mind, it's a good conference.
It's loaded, yeah. We're 12-0 for the second time in school history. So really proud of the group for handling the business during non-conference. I just learned 33 straight at Schollmeyer, which is incredible. And to win in the Big 12, you have to defend home court. That's one of the keys, and so we need Fort Worth to come show out and get Schollmeyer rocking again. But the Big 12, Iowa State right now is playing really good basketball, and then the top, the so-called top with Oklahoma State. Baylor, Iowa State, West Virginia, I would call kind of, at the top league, but you can't even say that because in the Big 12, every single game is an absolute war. The coaching in the Big 12 is elite and incredible. And obviously we open up against Kansas State, and Coach Mitty there does a tremendous job. So I'm ready for it. I know our team's excited for we call it an 18-game grind. That goes 3 months. And you come up for air in March, and we'll see where the dust settles.
So when you scout Kansas State. It means a lot for both teams. Obviously, the opener.
Yeah.
You guys lost to him last year, and Coach Mitty's coached here for 15 years.
Yeah.
So when you're talking about Kansas State and them coming back in there, it means a lot for both teams, right?
It is. It's a battle of the purple too. On top of all of that, but Coach Mitty did a tremendous job here. Won a lot of games here, and then went and did it again at Kansas State. And so he's been in this league. He's one of the old veterans, and has done an amazing job in the Big 12 and for the Big 12. They're an elite defensive team every single year. Obviously, a year ago, they had Aoka Lee, who was one of the best centers in college basketball, and she's graduated. And so that changes their style of play and system. And similar to us, we had Sedona Prince anchor in our middle, and she graduated and moved on. And so each of us, those were the two anchors. And so we each got a new group. We're each trying to figure out our new system. But Coach Mitty does an amazing job, and he's got his new group dialed in. And I think we're at a good point too, where we have our own identity and we're playing really good basketball. So Saturday, 4:00, the Battle of the Purples. It's going to be a great game. It kicks off the Big 12 season. And so again, you got to win at home to have a chance to win a Big 12 title, and so we need everybody to come out and support this team.
So last couple things, when after each press conference, you're talking about like the scouts on your desk.
Yeah.
So you go up there. What is that process like when you're actually finished with the team and now you move on to the next? Like you're going into your office the night of the game. What is that scouting process like?
Man, our staff's awesome. So each of the assistant coaches, we got the staff scouts divided up. They each have about 10 that they do over the course of the season. And so it's on the desk. First thing I do, dive into the keys and who is the opponent. And so they got it all summarized about, okay, here's our top 4 or 5 offensive keys to attack these guys. And then defensively, this is what we got to really lock in. And I read through that stuff in the bio. Then I go through each player, and they got the scout broken down. I'd love to hear what your basketball scout is. And so read through that. So I got a good understanding of who our opponent is. And then I love to go and I watch individual players first. Okay, so I'm going to start with their point guard. They got the clips all edited for me and broken down and get to see what their game is. After that, I'll go watch live game film. Now that I understand who they are, I understand the players, now it's kind of like putting the puzzle together. You go watch and you understand, okay, that's why they're running this action. It's for that kid, and that's what that kid does. And you start putting together, and then you see their defensive scheme, and you understand, okay, that's why this is what they're doing with this group of kids. And so no different than if someone were to study us. They're going to go, okay, they're using Olivia Miles in this way. She's a pretty good passer. They're putting her in some pick and rolls. So you want to tell the story, and so our staff helps me digest all that. And so by the next day, when we come in for practice, we can start working on how we're going to attack this game plan.
Last thing, what does Mark Campbell do before a game when they're out there warming up, and then you come out and you're get with the fans and with the coach and stuff like that? What is this? It's just a private moment, just getting the game plan, writing some stuff in the locker room. What are you doing?
Yeah, I got my game day routine. I can't give all the secrets, but between ampersand and common grounds, I go get my afternoon coffee, go get a good latte. That's my treat, and that's kind of a calming moment where I get to spend 15, 20 minutes. So on a game day, if you need to find me, there's a good chance it'll be at one of those 2 spots, okay? They get a special shout out. They keep me going. Then come back, and I'll go knock out my whiteboard. And in our locker room, we have this huge, whiteboard, and get the scout written up and get the game plan on the board. And that helps me just kind of settle my anxiety and nerves and purge and get ready. Then I'll go do our radio show with Chris and get that buttoned up and done. And then I come up to my office and get away from everything, close my door, and I'll either read and do a devotion. My daughters, I always get a little message from them. Snapchat's a great way to stay in touch with your kids. It's a modern way. And then sometimes I'll sit and just watch some game film before I head back down. I love walking through the arena on game day, right through the crowd, right through the concourse. I got a back entrance I can use, but I love just kind of seeing, the concession stand, smell the popcorn, walk through the audience. I'll say hi and shake hands to anybody that's here early, and then I'll go down and watch a little bit of practice, pregame warm-up, just see the vibe and the energy, but I'll only do it for about 2-3 minutes, and then I veer off and go back and wait for the team to get done with their warm-up. So that's kind of my normal pregame routine.
That's awesome. Just a quick message before we wrap it up to the fans about Saturday, 4 o'clock.
Okay, Saturday, listen, first of all, last year we were 21-0 at home and ran the table. Okay, we've continued that streak. It's right now we have the longest home winning streak in college basketball, 33 straight games, tied with that team in Austin. And so right now, longest home winning streak in the country. We start Big 12 play 4 o'clock on Saturday against Kansas State, but we need Fort Worth to come show out. And you guys, it's one of the best women's teams in the country. It's an absolute show. And this team, I promise you'll leave here and you'll come back for another one. And so I'm excited to get this thing started. I know already the ticket sales for this game on Saturday is the highest of the year. And so let's come pack the show.
We got no class, no nothing going on. Saturday, 4 o'clock. We'll be there, but we appreciate this. State of the Frogs, Mark Campbell, presented by Texit Coin. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you on Saturday. Hey. And Richard's Rainwater too, huh?
Let me get a.
Oh, there we go. Yeah.
Yes, and we got to hydrate.
Yeah, we do.
Better.
Cheers.
Go, cheers. No better way to hydrate than Richard's Rainwater.
Richard's Rainwater.
Oh, man, I like the new cans, too. This is great.
Taste the difference, sip the sky.
Go Frogs.